Hey everybody, Stu Smith here going live, taking some questions, giving some answers. I am actually live here on Instagram as well as um, YouTube and a couple Facebook pages. So if you guys have questions, let me know. This is what I call my Monday workout setup discussion. And it's really about what I do each week and a little bit of why. Okay, so as you guys may know, I do a style of periodization. Once again, it is a way to train, not the only way to train. Um, so it works like this. So when you are training and you're trying to go from being an athlete into becoming a member of the tactical professions in the military, law enforcement, firefighter, and especially special ops, because special ops is a different breed of preparation that I think a lot of people neglect. And what I mean by that is the folks that maybe played sports in high school and they want to go serve in the military, police, fire department. They may not need to do a whole lot of extra training to prepare for their regular military, law enforcement, firefighter service. They may have to do some, but it's always smart to do some that's specific, especially if there's a test that's going to prevent you from getting that job, or there's a particular event that that occurs, in your training, whether that is boot camp, basic training, police academy, fire academy, or whatever, spec ops selection. So those are typically things that your athletic history can probably drive your success. And way back when we actually had a lot of good PE programs and we had kids that were pretty solid physically, they could actually make that transition from high school and go right into serving. However, if you're not playing sports, you're not working out on your own, you're probably not going to get it at school these days like we did more universally 30, 40 years ago and beyond. So you need to prepare yourself and you need to learn how to do it. So this is my discussion of how I organize my week of training for the guys I coach. And it works like this. In fact, I'll just walk you through my week. Now, this week's a little bit different because I have to do, or I shouldn't say have to, I get to do a special week, a special day of training at the Naval Academy called Summer Seminar. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. It's 800 people out on a field. Um, so it alters my training cycle normally. Normally, I like to do an upper body on Monday, hill day on Tuesday, things like that. But we just flip those around a little bit. Mobility day on Wednesday. So we just flip it around. So we do hill days on Mondays for this month that I have this training program, because we really get after it in the um, summer seminar workout. And that's kind of hard to do because you have three groups typically that show up for an 800 person workout. And it's very motivating for me anyway. You're up there pushing out exercises with 800 people counting. It pumps you up a little bit. Um, and the fact, if you go to my website, stewsmithfitness.com, you'll see pictures of me doing it. I've been doing it for 25 years now. This is my 25th year of doing this special workout. And it's evolved over the years, I'll say. One thing that we like to do now is we like to, one, teach a little bit about testing, because they have to take two tests. They have to take a test to get into the Naval Academy called the CFA, which is very similar to most fitness tests. It's pull-ups, push-ups, sit-ups, a mile run, but there's also a real fast shuttle run in there, and there's a completely different exercise called the basketball toss, which I asked the inventor of that exercise, the creator of that exercise, it's like talking to Yoda, and he says it measures athletic potential, and he left it at that. And I said, very good. I will never ask why we throw a basketball again, because Coach Perry told me it measures athletic potential. He's a legend here. Probably worked at the Naval Academy for over 40 years, wrestling coach and PE coach, as well as an administrator here after he did all that job. Great guy, rest in peace. But yeah, your words have stuck with me over the years, and it measures athletic potential. That's why we do it. We do have a quick question here. Any plans on live stream the summer seminar workout? You know what? I did that last year. In fact, I put a link in the description of this video, and you can find it on my website. It's an article with video. It's on this YouTube channel as well. If you go to, or if you put in a search, USNA Summer Seminar Virtual Morning PT with Stu Smith. If you put that in Google, you'll find it. And it's I did 5 of them last year because it was a virtual thing because of COVID. But since it's not virtual, I doubt they will film it. It was fun though, having it live filming. But anyway, one of the things that we do is I teach them some of the strategies around PT, how to do a push-up, how to do a sit-up, how to work on your pace, work on your pace with running, just some typical advice that a lot of people don't know when they go into this, learning to take fitness tests better. It's kind of like studying for the SAT. You don't really get smarter studying for the SAT. You just learn how to take the test better. That's really what this is. But we throw in another one because the new fitness test at the Naval Academy and Navy as well is push-ups and plank pose instead of sit-ups. So we do an exercise called death by push-ups. And it's really death by plank because it's a 10-minute plank, and you have to do 10 push-ups every minute on the minute. And that's tough. It's 100 push-ups in 10 minutes, a 10-minute plank, and you have to either stay in the up push-up position or the plank pose. You can shake out an arm and go to the left side, and shake out an arm, go to the right side. But for the most part, try to keep your knees off the ground and stay in that plank pose the whole time, leaning rest. And it's a good little challenge. I think it's more mental than it is physical. It sounds horrible, but I think that it's very doable. We do it quite often, and I like to introduce people to it. But if you want to get good at push-ups and plank pose, try the death by push-ups model. Try it for 5 minutes. Try it for 10 minutes. It's really hard by yourself, I will say that. Probably need some music or something to go to your happy place. But anyway, that has altered my workout schedule normally. So let me explain to you real quick, and then I'll start taking some questions from you guys. So, for instance, this morning it's hill day. I don't know if you've seen our hill days in the past. Our hill day looks like this. It takes us 2.25 miles just to get to this hill. And this hill is a 1/4 mile hill at a decent angle. It's not horribly steep, but if it was any steeper or longer, there'd be a lot of quitters. Just teasing. It's hard enough. So on the way down there, we'll do a little squat pyramid. Every 100 yards, we'll stop and do a squat, run another 100 yards, do 2 squats, mix it up. It's a little warm up. That usually eats up about a mile if we go 1 to 10 or 1 to 15. And then we hit that last mile and a half pretty hard. Just see where your legs are when they're fresh. Then we'll spend 20 or maybe even 30 minutes running 4 or 5 hills, which every round trip of that hill adds a half mile to this run. So some guys do 5, some guys do 10, just depends on how many hills they want to run that day. We usually progress up to 10, not quite there yet. We'll get there probably late July or early August. Right now we're 4 to 5 typically. Then you run back, but it's not your normal 2 1/4 slow jog back. We'll hit some intervals on the way back with 400s or 800s, or sometimes we'll go fast and hit 200s mixed with squats and lunges, body weight type squats and lunges. And then after that, we'll swim with fins. My Army guys will put on a ruck and do a little more mileage on with rucking. So that's our leg day. Today is what we did. Um, Tomorrow's an upper body day. It's a mix of calisthenics and sandbag workout. So it's kind of like a sand baby Murph minus the legs. So a lot of push press stuff, a lot of chest carry, sit ups, chest carry running. So it kind of helps you simulate that running with a log, on your chest really hard on the guns. It will definitely work the guns uh, pretty hard. So it's just a good thing to get used to. Chest carry lunges, lower back and biceps get burned out on that. Then on Wednesday, it's an easy day. We do a what we call a mobility day, but it's not just stretching and foam rolling and you know non-impact cardio. We actually do it with a purpose, and we stretch, we foam roll, we do some cardio just to stay warm on land. Then we take it straight to the pool and we apply all that new mobility stuff that we've been working on to treading. Because something I've discovered as a coach, I make these observations, and for reasons that I just now figured out, a lot of people can't tread because they lack ankle, knee, and hip mobility. And I'm embarrassed that I just figured it out. But just being underwater, watching people, they're athletic, they understand the process of egg beater treading or scissor kick treading, but the reason why they're not very good at it is they're not able to produce downward force with a proper kick that does require some knee, hip, and ankle mobility. So that's what we work on. We really work on some of that. And I've taken guys who failed fitness tests, failed treading tests, and within 3 to 4 weeks were able to do the egg beater much better. I mean, they're not a water polo player yet, but probably won't ever be. But they are able to do the egg beater sufficiently and efficiently that it's actually a useful tool for them when they're treading water versus just, you know, just a delayed drowning process, which what it looks like for most people. So there's a process when we do that mobility day. There's actually a goal at the end to one, not feel pain, but at the same time get a lot better at some of the mobility driven exercises like treading, which most people neglect. If you fail a treading test, you've probably neglected treading because you thought treading was easy. I want to tell you right now, treading sucks. Treading is hard. And if you blow it off, it's at your own risk. You probably will not pass it in the future. And there's some hard tread tests out there. You got treading at Navy SEAL with fins, without fins. You got treading at dive school, EOD, really hard tread workouts over there, over unders, Air Force PJs, treading. You got that snorkel breathe with the Air Force that takes it up another notch. So you got to tread and buddy breathe snorkel at the same time. Killer. As well as, underwater swimming, things like that. So it's more of a technique driven day than it is a hard workout. But we use it right in the middle of the week. And what that does is it helps us crush the next 3 days of training, day 4, day 5, day 6, and be at a whole lot better position to handle that volume where we are right now, because in the spring and summer, as we're making that transition, our running volume is increasing, our rep volume is increasing, swimming every day. So it's a lot of calisthenics and cardio. But as the fall comes around, we start ramping down the mileage, start picking up some weight, turning down the reps a little bit. and start building some strength, power, speed, agility type work versus longer distances and higher mileage. And it just gives your joints a break. And it allows you to pick up some mass if you need to pick up some mass when it is mainly needed in the winter, because you will be cold in these jobs in the winter, depending on where you live, where you're stationed, what your job is. Obviously, you will be cold, and sometimes that extra mass, especially if you're diving community, um, you will enjoy that extra mass after being in cold water. So it actually has a tactical purpose to it too, to lift and get bigger in the winter, turn it back around, and then rip it up in the spring and summer, just like we've been doing. I've been actually doing this for almost 25 years now, personally as a coach. The rest of the week, I'll shorten this a little bit. The rest of the week is upper body, mostly submax rep sets, just a lot of volume. So like 10 sets of 10, 10 sets of 20, working on your pacing for sit-ups and, running some good quarter miles at your goal pace, mixed with some other, flutter kicks, leg levers, hip flexor type stuff. And then, of course, swim. The 50-50 workout's a great one to throw in there. We've been doing 100-100s lately, 100-meter freestyle, throw some skip breathing in there, 6 to 8 strokes per breath, mixed in with some 100-meter CSS at goal pace. That's a really good one. If 50-50s get too easy, double it, or you can make it 75-75. It's up to you. But if you don't know what the 50-50 workout is, you should Google it, because it is a great workout. It's free. It's something that you can add to your workout day anytime. We do it all the time. I see guys go from 10 minutes to 8 minutes in about a month if they do that five days a week. You got to get in the water to get better at it, obviously. Then on day 5, we do a just a cardio day, basically a run, swim, ruck, beach run, swim with fins, open water, run 3 to 4 miles, ruck 3 miles, sand or hills, and you got yourself a good little spec ops triathlon there. Last week we did a run, swim, run versus the ruck. Some guys rucked. I did not. It was a 3-mile run, 3-mile run, 1-mile swim, 3-mile run. Yeah. Great workout. Highly recommend getting those in. And then on day 6 this week, we have ourselves what we call the Sand Baby Murph. You can Google that one. It's a great one. It's a full body workout, a lot of sandbag stuff. And what it does is it actually simulates log PT. Think about all the events that you can do with a log. You can do push presses with it. You can do shoulder carry squats. You can do chest carry lunges. You can do chest carry sit-ups. Those are actually kind of a rest, to be honest. Not that hard. And then probably the hardest thing is actually running with it, whether that is running with it on your shoulder or running with it or walking fast with it, chest carry, gets those biceps, lower back burning. Then mix in some running, some pull-ups too, and you got yourself what we call the Sand Baby Murph. So set up kind of like the Murph, and with those exercises in it. So give it a shot. You can Google it. See how you do on that. I do recommend doing that one because it is a good log PT simulator if you are definitely trying to simulate log PT on your own. And you can definitely prepare those muscle groups for that kind of burn. And one of the rules we have too is during the Sand Baby Murph, don't set the Sand Baby down. Sandbag. A sand baby is just a homemade sandbag that we call affectionately 40 to 50-pound bag of sand, and you can just put it anywhere. Don't drop it because it probably explode on you. So anyway, so let me take some questions from you guys. I'm going to start over here on YouTube. Okay, somebody asks, what's a realistic timeline to get 15 plus pull-ups, 80 plus push-ups from 9 pull-ups and 55 push-ups? Can I expect to be ready in a year? Absolutely. But it does depend. I mean, if you're 250 pounds, probably going to be a little slower. If you're under 200, you could probably do that in a few months. If you get on it. What I would recommend you do is one, get on program, or follow these 3 workouts. I'm going to put them in the comment section over here on my YouTube, Facebook channel. But the article is called "My Free 3 Favorite Workouts to Crush Fitness Tests," and that's a pyramid, a superset, and a max rep set. And you spread those throughout the week for 3 days. You don't do daily reps of this stuff, because once eventually, if you do daily reps at a low volume, that's probably okay. But once you start getting really high volume numbers, you need a day in between, or sometimes 2 um, in between before you um, do it again. Because you got to treat high volume calisthenics the same way you do um, heavy weightlifting, in my opinion. Hey Stu, is there any other method to maintain focus on learning abilities under stress and fatigue? For instance, how did you do during selection? You know what helps? Being in really good shape so you actually are not overly stressed that you can't learn. All right, that is something that does happen. So that is one of the reasons why I highly recommend being in that compete mode, win mode, um, whatever you want to call it, just high level of fitness, just so you can actually not be so stressed out physically that you just are unable to learn new skills. Because after you finish hell week and those type of selection processes, you are going to be part of a training program where they teach you constant tactical applications. You're going to be diving, you're going to be shooting, you're going to be jumping, you're going to be doing land navigation. um, all of those tactical skills are very often first time ever done, in the military. So during that part of training. So your ability to grasp new things and learn them and then be able to replicate them for the instructor who is teaching you is very important. And always, always recommend learning how to breathe. Breathing will help you immediately gain a little bit more confidence, as well as calm you down a little bit so you can engage that thinking part of the brain. That's one of the reasons why I like to do pyramid workouts and multiple set workouts, because and then keep track of all your numbers, all the sets on odd sets, even sets. You got to change things up, because thinking while you're working out is an actual skill that can help you later on in some of these tired tactical training decisions that you also have to make. So, great question. Um, Justin says, bought your fitness book. Great. Thank you. Glad you think it's great. Um, so, I got some questions over here on Instagram as well. Let me see where these are coming in. If you guys have questions over here on Instagram, send them. I'm just going to go real quick. Someone who did the summer seminar session with me. I did it last week as well. So glad you liked that, Ashley. It was fun for me as well. What's the difference between SAS and Navy SEALs? Man, there's a lot of difference. I would Google that. There's probably some videos on there that people can spend 30, 45 minutes explaining the difference there. I will say this, the Army Special Forces and Delta modeled a lot of their training after the SAS because it was in existence before those units were, shortly after World War II. So I would say that question is the same as basically what's the difference between Army and the Navy, um, Navy Special Forces and Navy SEALs. Two different jobs, same type of training, both very hard. One's more land based, one's more water based. Both play around on land and sea and water as well. Um, Missions can be the same, but sometimes the specialty missions are a lot different. Especially with foreign internal defense missions, and things like that. So, to be honest with you, there's a lot to kind of unwrap with that, and I just don't have time to take it to that kind of level. But there's a lot of stuff out there. All right, one more from Instagram, then I'll go back to YouTube over here. Plan on enlisting towards the end of the year. I'm losing weight, training for the PST at the same time. Do you think I should focus on losing weight first and continue to work on both? I would continue to work on both. Getting in shape and losing weight at the same time can definitely be done. But I will tell you this, don't even talk to a recruiter until you are crushing the PST, right? Because there's no mentor program anymore. It's done by scouts. You might get lucky and have a shore duty SEAL in your recruiting district that can help you with some of the things. But for the most part, their job is really to test you on the PST. They may do a couple of training programs to help you with some things, but for the most part, they have to bounce around throughout your entire recruiting district. You're not going to see them daily. You might at best see them weekly, more likely every other week. So it's not something that you can rely on to get yourself in shape for. My advice is get on a program, start crushing the PST, but then, that's just going to get you two buds. You got to also spend some time working on some of those events that are going to get you through. And all that means is just progressing logically to a next level. So PST gets you to 500 yards swimming, a mile and a half running, and decent at pull up, push up, sit ups. That's great. But the next level is 4-mile timed runs and 2-mile ocean swims with a pair of scuba fins, um, lunges, squats, load bearing type of activity, rucking, all these things you need to get prepared to do if you want to make it through. Unfortunately, you got 75-80% of the people only listen to that first phase of tactical fitness and get to the training, and they don't get through the training, which is a bummer. They're just neglecting time. Their lack of patience screws them in the end, and they fail. All right, or they change their mind because it's so hard that they weren't prepared for it. You guys, it's nice you guys answering each other, but it's it's a little slow on me finding actual questions. Hey, Naples, NSA, nice. Thanks for listening. All right, so don't see any questions over here on Instagram. If I miss some of those questions on Instagram, just DM me and I will answer them personally later on. I got a ton of questions over here on YouTube. In fact, if you guys are on Instagram, check out the YouTube channel. Subscribe to that, and you'll get notifications when I'm on, because I don't always go up on Instagram. I do 2 a week over here on Instagram, or I'm sorry, on YouTube. I do some live CSS critiques tomorrow at 9 a.m. I'll be back on, and it's all live Q&A with CSS critiques. Want to thank you for all you've provided. Excellent resource, straightforward. Hey, thank you very much. Any tips on balancing football lifts with prepping for the CFA? Not your typical big football player skill guy who needs to also get stronger. You know what? I was the same way. I was a football player that wanted to play football at Navy, was recruited for football by Navy. and I still had to take the CFA. I actually laid off the weights just for probably about 6 to 8 weeks, and all I did was calisthenics and cardio for that, and that really helped me with a few things. Helped me with my mile time, and it helped me with my pull-ups, push-ups, and sit-ups. The shuttle run was no problem. Basketball toss, no problem. Had plenty of strength for that. Also played baseball, so that helped with throwing sports. But I needed it for the higher repetition calisthenics, and I needed it for running that mile. So I would say during the off season, before you really start playing football again and lifting weights for footballs, I would maybe take a month and really focus on calisthenics and cardio, take that test, and then go back into your lifting and getting ready for football season. That's my advice. Have you seen any of your guys do 200 meters in under 30? Yeah, I have. Are you one of them? I think you are. Um, yeah, we've been hitting the track a lot. One of our workouts has been a series of 200s, 400s, and 800s. We have been increasingly getting faster. We took a week off of the track this week just because I think everybody's legs are toast from last week after a series of 800s and 200s blew us up. But we had some guys really getting under 230 on the 800s, which was pretty impressive. Goal pace was managed very well with those as well. But then we also hit some 200s, and we had a couple of guys hit, I think we had 27, 28 on the 200, which, like I said, if you're a track guy, and you're probably laughing at that, but these are guys that don't run track and really have no business being fast. But we also had some quarter miles there that some 400s guys hit at 63, 64. On this is their last set too. This is after running 8 quarter miles progressively getting faster, 10 seconds every quarter till we get there. It's just a fun workout to do. I haven't done it in a while, and I wanted to bring it back, and it has been a big hit so far. So good question there, JJ. Let's see. Is he running 30 miles a week, doing 3 to 5 every other day, then throwing a long run in there, 8+ miles? What's your thoughts? I think that's fine. If that's what you need, as long as you're not like literally running your ass off and getting weak and skinny. At the same time, I think 30 miles is not too much for that. Maintaining some mass, maintaining your strength, high rep calisthenics. You know, I would also make sure many of those 30 miles are 6 and 7 minute mile pace, goal pace type runs. So you're not just getting good at running 8 minute miles, because that's failing at buds. 8 minute mile will get you a 32-minute 4 mile timed run, which is the minimum standard in first phase. After second and third phase, you have to run it 1 and 2 minutes faster. So practice running your 4 mile, 5 mile timed runs at that 6, 7 minute mile pace. Do you still practice going to the range to this day? You know what? I don't often enough. I probably should, but I may get out a couple times a year. It's just something in my schedule that doesn't really allow it. Got some new guns I want to try anyway, but I could definitely do it more. Put it this way, I kind of stay in my lane. I don't really do a lot of I don't do any range training at all. I mean, I got some good ideas whenever I do go shooting, and we do some drills and stuff like that, but I'm not going to be posting them just because that's not my thing. I stay in my lane on this fitness side, and it's what I do. I work out and write about it. In fact, you can find all those writings at military.com, or you can find them at stewsmithfitness.com as well. Let's see. Summer program has been great. Also had some major gains switching to a trap bar for deadlifts. Nice. Yeah, I like the trap bar. My son and I are doing some over the summer while he's home from college, and he said he's been doing all straight bar lifts at school. And I said, well, let's change it up a little bit. We'll do some trap bar lifts during the summer. Another thing I did too is I got one of those landmine attachments, and we've been putting the trap bar into the landmine, and then we use it as like a T-bar row, like a bent over T-bar row. That's really good. It's a great idea to changing things up. Let's see, Ethan. Yes, Navy SEALs are more like SBS. Yes, we actually worked with SBS when we were there. I never worked with SAS guys, but SBS, we were doing some stuff with the Australians and the British SBS. Absolutely. They are definitely the British SEALs. Let's see. See if there's any questions over here on Instagram. You guys are tearing it up over here at YouTube. I appreciate it. Alex just got through doing that Navy SEAL swim. I saw nice work over there. Nice support. Let's see. Are SEALs the Navy's only infantry focused unit? Oh no, you tell me. What do you think? Have you ever heard of a Navy infantry? SEALs aren't infantry, that's for sure. SEALs are small unit tactics. Now, if you want to call the Marine Corps the Navy's infantry, go ahead. I wouldn't do that, especially to a Marine. They may not appreciate it. Yeah. I mean, there are some units that do land warfighting jobs. The CBs, I mean, they build stuff and they will shoot you too, and defend it. Master at arms like you have there, security guys, they have weapons, but that's not the same as an infantry unit that actually goes out, with thousands of people and assault stuff. Come on, man. What kind of questions that? I'm currently training for Marine Recon. Nice. Good work. Currently can pass the screener. I have good cardio, calisthenics, swimming base. How are you swimming with clothes on? Because that is a tough screener. If you're not swimming with clothes on, you need to practice, because pants and shirt while you swim is much harder. At 145, yeah, you need to put on some mass, depending on your height. Now you could be wiry strong, and 145 will get you through if you've had an athletic history like wrestling, or, just pound for pound strong and tough. But if you're like running skinny, you probably need to put on some mass here for sure. All right, let me go back to this question. What skills should you bring to a SEAL recruiter if you want to be considered for a waiver? Let's say for some reason you are in your early 30s already. You know what? I don't know anymore, to be honest with you. That's a good question. Some people said there are no age waivers anymore. Some people say there's no age limit. And I'm like, until I see it on sealswick.com that the age limit is no longer 29, then there's an age limit. Now, there are waivers, and I don't know how you get them. You have to really work hard, or just be an exceptional, above average candidate, so a recruiter will take it up the chain of command to the levels that are required to get an age waiver. And I'm not sure how high that goes up nowadays. Sometimes it's within the regular Navy, sometimes it goes over into Spec War, and the CO of BUDS is the determining factor on whether or not they want older people to come in and be students. It has happened both ways. So we had a guy 33 a few years ago get to and through BUDS, so it can happen. It's just right now, is probably the worst time to be asking for a waiver because they just don't need people. Now, we'll say this year, they are undermanned this year group just because they have just been decimating Bud's classes with very high attrition rates. So they are undermanned now for this year group. However, they are overmanned for the entire community. So that will probably even itself out here in the next year or two with people retiring and people getting out, like they normally do within 6, 8 years or something. But uh, it's just very difficult. Classes are smaller. They're taking fewer people. They're graduating fewer people. And it's at a kind of a weird scale tipping point right now where one year group is undermanned, one year group's overmanned, and I'm not sure what the answer is, to be honest with you. You got to have your stuff squared away. And find a recruiter willing to work for you. That's the big one. Wow. Christian, if you got 12 weeks to head to boot camp, you'd be lucky to gain a few pounds in 12 weeks. So, maybe some of the pipeline, good food in the Marine Corps, you might put up some mass in the Marine Corps. I don't know. Chances are you young and you're just not finished growing yet? A lot of people make that. Don't want to call it a mistake, but in some worlds it is a mistake because if you're not finished growing yet, your bones are soft, susceptible to um, shin pain, knee pain, things like that, and just haven't even finished puberty yet. So, just one of those things. Just let nature take its course. The Marine Corps at least the Marine Corps has a great way of, you're going to go through infantry training. You're going to be a war fighter. You're going to be carrying a gun. There is actual training for you. And if you don't get it the first time out, you can always go back and try the screener again, maybe in another year or two when you're a little bit older, a little more mature, you finish growing, maybe put on 15, 20 pounds. And, so once again, don't be in a hurry. At least you got a cool job, cool uniform, while you wait the process out and prepare yourself a little better. Okay, any remedies for lower limb cramps during long open water swim with fins, like 2, 3 miles? Yeah, you know what? We get cramps usually when we run first and then swim second. So maybe consider that. Consider swimming first and running second. Regardless, whatever you do last, you're going to get cramps in. Typically, so you have to really stay on top of both hydration and your electrolytes. So that means adding, magnesium, potassium, sodium to your drinks so you can actually not get cramps. That will help you. What does a typical phase one grinder PT consist of? I wrote an article on it. In fact, you can find it I think I called it old school grinder PT. I'm sure it's changed a little bit since then, but this was a fun one. Yeah, this is a fun one. I throw a little bit of Spec Ops history in there, Spec Ops recruiting history. I'm going to put it in the comment section over here on YouTube. But the article is called Spec Ops Recruiting History, Old School Grinder PT. It's on military.com. A lot of fun. I give you an idea of what they at least used to look like, and they're not that much different. Still going to do a lot of pull-ups, flutter kicks, push-ups, dips, abs, things like that. Let's see. I'm 5'8", 18 years old. Did wrestling. That's good. Just graduated. Also did cross country. You might be tough enough. Those are two great sports that will help you, be better prepared for what you are about to endure. I will say 145 is a little light, but rucking may be challenging for you, but given your wrestling history and your ability to run, maybe you'll do okay. Pound for pound strength goes a long way whenever you are, going through these type of training. So I've always said, in fact, last week I said it, wrestlers who can swim do really well at buds. I would say that goes the same for recon as well. So good luck to you, Christian. Thanks for choosing to serve. Let me see. Questions over here. So do you have an only mobility training regiment? Um, you know, if you go to an article I wrote called Don't Skip Mobility Day, you will see the mobility training regiment. Also made a live video of what I do. Now, when I say I do mobility, I also mix in non-impact cardio activity as well. So I'll do like 5 minutes of stretching, 5 minutes of biking, followed by 5 minutes of stretching, foam rolling, moving. I'll do that for an hour. So it's kind of like a spin class and a yoga class had a baby. All right, think about it that way. So that's how I do it. As far as the exercises that I do, I usually start with my feet and work up to my neck every 5 minutes. So I'll do feet and shins and calves for the first 5 minutes. Then I'll do hamstring and thighs the next 5 minutes. Then I'll do hips and lower back the next 5 minutes. I'll work some thoracic spine twisting movements, things like that. And then shoulders and arms the last 5 minutes. Then I'll go do the tread workout like I mentioned before. That's how it normally goes. I may take another video and show that because there's a lot to unwrap there. But you can really take any stretching routine that you like to do and add it to that system because it's 5 minutes of biking or elliptical or rowing or whatever, followed by 5 minutes of stretching and foam rolling. So it's kind of open-ended type workout. It's just more of a system than it is specific exercises that you have to do because everybody's going to be a little bit different. Find what kind of aches on you, work those areas. Let's see. Coming to the States in July. Hey, my buddy Max or Nick. If you are in the Maryland area, then come join us. That'd be fun. If you're looking for our schedule, go to heroesoftomorrow.org website and you will see our schedule and times and locations where we train. But let me know before you do decide to train. All right. So somebody mentioned from the Richmond, NSW, NSO coordinator, age waivers are allowed for NSW. However, it is only age waiver allowed. No civil, drug, academic waivers. PST also needs to be auto qual. Yeah, that's how it's always been. It's just sometimes, it's a thing where people are getting it, or it's a thing where people aren't getting it. And it's just kind of more of the needs of the Navy, I guess, kind of dictates it. And also depends on who's the CEO of Bud's compound, because I've seen CEOs of Bud's compounds shut it down for 2 or 3 years saying, I don't want old guys in my thing. And then there'll be a new guy there saying, I'll take age waivers. Let's see. But yeah, pretty much if you're going to try for an age waivers for spec war, you definitely need to be a stellar candidate. It's up there. So it's as competitive as an officer candidate, if you think about it. So think about it as like 1/10 of the SEAL community is officers. So it is 10 times harder to get an officer billet than it is to enlist. Age waivers are pretty similar to that. You need to basically have your stuff together if you're going to try for an age waiver. You can't put it this way: you can't have not done anything for the last 8 or 9 years and just figure, well, can't make it out here. I got to go. Guess I'll go try to join the military. You got to be pretty stellar in your prior life and know some people. That helps. Did you ever work with Marines at the basic school? Yes. Yes. Many times. As well as before they went to the basic school. From the Naval Academy before they went to the basic school. We got local guys that are preparing for Marine OCS program, as well as the what's that other college one they do? The kind of platoon. I can't remember what it's called, but anyway, it's a great Marine program where they spend 2 summers at Quantico preparing, doing the OCS, and then they all go to TBS later. Here's another question. Do you know what the minimums are for the correctable vision of SEALs? Yeah, you go to sealswick.com and you can find all that information out. Tips on working out with stress fractures on the tibia. Killing weight off one side of your body. Yeah, I would probably lay off load bearing stuff for a while and let that thing actually heal. I mean, I would just do killer upper body workouts, core workouts, and lay off the legs. Maybe if you do anything, maybe swim and maybe ride a bike. But I'd lay off lifting legs until doctors and physical therapy say you can do deadlifts and RDLs and weighted squats, things like that. You can probably do body weight squats. I would think that'd be all right. All right. I got to wrap it up here soon. Gonna go do another workout here. Do you recommend any neck strengthening exercises? Yes. In fact, I just wrote an article on it. Strong neck. Just wrote it on military.com. Neck exercise. Let me see. Where'd you go? Dang it. Neck exercise, Stu Smith. Where'd it go? Neck exercise, Stu Smith. Oats and logs. Because I wrote it about, just preparing for boats and logs and gave some good exercises in there. Oh, there you go. Boom. So if you go to YouTube, or I'm sorry, go to the internet and type in how to strengthen your necks for carrying boats on heads safely. So it's got some good info. I put the link to it in there. You ever worked with firemen who wanted to transition spec ops route? Yes, several times. And I also worked with spec ops guys that wanted to be firemen. Great jobs. Highly recommend doing both if you can. Yes, we've had multiple firemen go on to do spec ops stuff. It's a thing. Yeah, cool. Hey guys, I really apologize. I do need to go. Tomorrow, if you show up with these questions, I will answer them again. If I missed them, or you can email me, stu@stewsmith.com. You guys check out stewsmithfitness.com. If you guys are still listening, I appreciate it. Check out coupon code COMPETE20 and you will save 20% on anything at stewsmithfitness.com. Also, if you're trying to get better at the CSS, don't forget, I actually have a TikTok full of over 100 videos of me critiquing CSS videos and their stroke. Some underwater stuff too, some drown proofing, but mainly it's swimming related TikTok, my voiceover fixing and at least describing what they're doing right and wrong on the CSS. So check that out. Um, Also go on to YouTube, follow it, and you'll get these notifications that I'm taking live Q&A over here because I don't always do um, these lives on Instagram. And Cam, you should start a podcast, he says. Thank you. I actually have a podcast. I have over 200 podcast episodes called the Tactical Fitness Report. You can find them where you get podcasts. You can also find them on my YouTube channel. 223, I think, episodes. A lot of them with Jeff Nichols and other guests, as well as some to, through, and after stories of guys going through spec ops training and beyond. So you got to check that out and get from under that rock you've been hiding. All right, I got to run. Until next time, which is tomorrow, I will see you tomorrow at 9.